Going to show you how to deploy a Ruby Sinatra app onto Blossom in this video. To do that, we're going to click on View Documentation right here. Under View Documentation, you see a bunch of quick starts. There's the Ruby Sinatra one, so I'm going to click on that. And then it basically says in the quick start, you just have to go to the Blossom itself, quick start webpage, and then choose Sinatra and click deploy. So let's click on quick starts here. That takes us now to Blossom, and then you can see configure deploy Ruby Sinatra. So I'm going to click on that. And you can see that on the quick start page, there is the demo cluster here already selected. So I pre-created the cluster already, and I'm just going to show you the cluster. It's a demo cluster using Hertzner. But you go actually back to the docs page right here and scroll down. You can use basically a lot of different cloud providers. It supports pretty much kind of all the major ones. And even if you want, you can use your own data center if you want. Okay. Next, let's go back to cluster. Click on demo cluster here. You can see there's a server here. So the server collapse every single thing down, like load balancer or web altogether, just to save some money. But if you want, you can expand it out. If you need to scale your server, you just want to have a load balancer and expand out to the web tier. You can also actually scale the containers too on each server. So there's lots of ways to scale this. Additionally, you can actually deploy multiple applications onto all the same server, or have dedicated servers for dedicated apps. So it's kind of really up to you how you want to use this. It's quite flexible. There's an app name, Ruby Sinatra. Here's the repository. Let's take a quick look at that. Go there, and then you can see it's just a kind of hello world app right here. That's all it really is. You can see it right there. Going back to here, container registry. So we need to connect container registry to push the Docker image that Blossom builds. And I'm using Docker Hub for that right now. But you can use a bunch of different registries. You use ECR, GitHub Container Registry, Google Container Registry, and ACR, Azure Container Registry. So all of them are pretty much kind of supported there. Let's click Create App. So now there's a bouncy error here telling me I need to click this button to deploy. So now we can start the deploy process, and you can see there's some logs here. If you click on that, this gives us the main log. The main log is basically the log that shows what's happening across the cluster. So this is happening across the fleet of servers that you have. Now we only have one server in this cluster setup, but if you have more, then you're gonna see multiple server logs down here, okay? So down here, if you click on the server log, then it's individually take it to each server log, and you can see what's happening right now. It's actually building your Docker image. Oh, and I should point out, back in this app right here, notice there's no Docker file. Docker file is actually optional, because Blossom would detect your language and figure out what it needs to build, in this case, a Ruby Sinatra app. Now, if you want, you could always provide your own Docker file and then tell it to use your Docker file. So there's a lot of ways you kind of build the application here if you want to. Now, it looks like it's on the preparing stage here, is pushing the Docker image up to the registry. And then let's go back to the parent log here, because that's going to be done quite shortly. While we're waiting for that, I guess, I'll show you around. We're on the log, so I click on the dashboard. So we're back to here, kind of the dashboard where we deployed. You click on Git repo. So this was kind of configured already because of the quick start, but you could actually configure private repositories if you want. You can select I already have one kind of connected, but if you don't have a connected provider yet, click this button, and then connect to GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket. Then you can specify repository. Docker registry, this is where you specify the Docker image to push to. And databases, the Sinatra app doesn't need one. Environmental variables, it doesn't need one. Activity is just the deploy login. App logs, the app is it just finished deploying, I guess, because like this starting to pick up. Okay, but this is where it's gonna stream actually your app logs actually back right here. And I find this very convenient actually. Okay, so this is very kind of useful to use. You saw it actually right there. So that's where I would go to actually for debugging. But let's go back to a dashboard and click on this deploy here, because it went through the build phase, it went through the deploy phase. Okay, and so let's click on the deploy phase. You can see basically uses Docker Compose up. So it's just pretty simple. All you have to really know is Docker Compose, so that's pretty great. And then it creates a managed domain. So what that is it's like a short URL that makes your app immediately available, and that's configured with SSL and HTTPS right off the bat. Now it's going through the load balancer proxy here. So basically it's configuring the load balancer so it's going to be reachable. Now it's done. So you click on dashboard and you click on view app now here, and we should see the Sinatra app. Here's the Sinatra app. It's a greeting generator. You click on this. Hello world. You click on dad jokes so you can see different dad jokes. Okay. Okay. All right. That's funny. And that is pretty much it. That's how you deploy a Sinatra app onto Blossom.